Hello everybody, I want to share my story about how I cleared my acne without Accutane. That's right, the photos that you're seeing on screen right now are me. That is what I look like, and I was able to get rid of that acne without Accutane. So this is what happened. I had acne kind of throughout high school. It was never that bad. It was always pretty manageable. I could usually kind of keep it under control. I would try different sort of benzoyl peroxide scrubs and washes, but you know, it never was super bad. Usually in the summer when it was really hot, it would flare up a little bit, but it was, you know, very kind of average high school acne. And then June of 2017, so the summer I turned 17, the summer before my senior year of high school, something seemed off. It just seemed a little bit worse. And it just kept getting worse. By July, it was really bad. Like worse than it had ever been. And it just seemed to be on a progressive decline in that direction. So I got very nervous. I was trying all of the over-the-counter remedies that were available at CVS. I was even looking online at any sort of home remedy that I could do to try and solve this, but nothing seemed to be working and my acne just seemed to be getting worse. So I tried to get in to see a dermatologist, but it was like a 3 or 4 month wait. So I put that on the calendar, but I knew I had to take action with something sooner than that, right? Like that was gonna be way too long. So eventually I just went to my primary care doctor to try to see what he could do. And he prescribed me 2 different things. One was doxycycline. So doxycycline is an antibiotic. I took it in an oral pill. And then the other was Trentolin gel. And Trentolin gel basically causes your skin to peel and regenerate more quickly. So he gave me both of those, and it was sort of like, maybe this will work to help solve this acne. At this point, it was getting worse by the day, and my doctor was telling me, you know, these remedies might work, but it's gonna take a while for them to even kick in. And so on my end, kind of living through this each day, I really wanted to find a faster solution. I wanted to find something that was gonna work more quickly. And so because I wanted this problem to be solved immediately, I started to turn to other methods. I still use the prescribed medications, but I also started to try kind of anything I could find online. Whether that was like a baking soda mask or apple cider vinegar treatments, like I was trying everything. And besides just remedies, I just wanted to try to control everything on my end. And so I decided to go vegan because that was one of the things that I read, is that certain animal products could maybe cause your flare-ups. I removed sugar basically from my diet. I cut out processed foods. So basically anything that came in a package, like even like a granola bar, right? Like anything that came in a package that was processed, basically eliminating from my diet. I also started really vigorous exercise. To me, this was running 3 to 5 miles every day. And then on top of that, I was changing my pillowcase very frequently, right? So I was doing basically everything I could think of on my end to try and solve this problem. Finally, we got to August. And at this point, I really felt like it hit its peak. It was at a point where I just felt embarrassed to go outside. I didn't want to be around friends. I didn't want to be around family. Like the only thing I wanted to do was like be in my room, curled up watching TV. Like that was it. I really genuinely didn't want to do anything else. And even that, I was just like so embarrassed. I was so truly ashamed of like what my skin looked like. I remember going to the Smithsonian as a family. We were on like a family vacation, which I really didn't want to go on because of my skin, and walking through the Natural History Museum, and I just couldn't enjoy it because I felt like all of these people are looking at me, and I'm looking out at all these people that don't have this skin condition, don't have this acne, and I'm just feeling envious for all of them. So as August progressed, it just felt like it was getting worse and worse. But one of the things I started to notice is that, okay, while it is still really bad, well, it still really looks bad, I'm not getting as many whiteheads. I'm not getting as many sort of classic pimples as I used to. It seemed like by mid-August, that was starting to decline. Throughout August, I'm still in the thick of it. I still think that was the worst it ever got. And I couldn't see that things were getting better quite yet, right? Like I kind of needed some perspective to actually see that things were actually starting to improve. So starting September, I kept doing the vegan diet. I kept cutting out sugar. I kept exercising. So I was just doing that vigilantly. And my skin started to decrease in inflammation, right? So I started to have fewer actual breakouts, but the breakouts that I had had previously were basically leaving their mark. They had kept their mark on my skin in what's called hyperpigmentation. So hyperpigmentation are these dark kind of spots that you get that basically look like you have acne, right? Like if somebody were to look at you, they would look at your face and go, it looks like you have acne. But if you get closer and you kind of like, or if you were to feel one of those bumps, it would feel smooth, it would feel flat. And at this point, I was still trying everything over the counter. So I was trying out different face washes. I was trying out different moisturizers. I was trying out different products that promised to clear your acne. I was just sort of hoping that like, I'm gonna stumble upon something that is gonna clear this up and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and my skin's gonna be clear. Like that was my dream. It's like, I'm just gonna go to sleep one night, wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and go, holy cow, there I am again. And of course that didn't happen, but it did start to get better, right? This hyperpigmentation was a lot better than the actual pimples, and those marks just started to fade over time. Now, the Trentolin gel that I had been using made my skin super sensitive to the sun, so I was getting kind of severely sunburnt. So my face was super red as well. So both, it had all these red marks that were still there, these like hyperpigmentation marks, but also the skin of my face itself was bright red as a tomato. It didn't look great, but it looked a little bit better than it did in August. I looked back, as I was researching for this video, I looked back at my Amazon search history and I realized on August 1st, I ordered one of the best products I could, which was a non-comedogenic concealer. I ordered from Elf Cosmetics. I'm sure they still sell this. It was an acne fighting concealer. So it contains salicylic acid, which is an acne fighting agent, and also was non-comedogenic, right? So meaning it wouldn't clog your pores. And I found that this product was great just because you could put it on, cover up your skin, and at least to some degree, I looked a little bit more normal. It had very good coverage. It just made me feel more natural. Like when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see those red bumps on my face. I saw my face a little bit more naturally. Throughout September, you know, we have this hyperpigmentation. I'm trying out different products. I'm trying to get rid of that redness, get rid of the hyperpigmentation. But for the most part, a lot of the actual pimples have faded away at this point. So I was getting to a point where my skin was actually me again. Like I could start to see myself underneath all of this. I'm still doing the vigorous exercise. I'm still keeping up with the diet. I'm still doing everything that I can to try and reduce it, but I can see now that it's moving in the positive direction. So it was actually getting better. By mid-September, I was fully off of the doxycycline. I was fully off of the Trentolin. I had done that run and it seems to have improved it. But I also think that eliminating that sugar, probably eliminating some dairy from my diet as well, really caused the reduction of that acne. By the beginning of October, I was able to cover my face with foundation in a way that most people couldn't notice. So if you took a picture, it looked pretty normal. If you got up close, maybe you could tell, but it wasn't like super, super noticeable. And then by the end of October, like I started to finally feel comfortable. But really, it took until the end of October before things actually got to a point where I was like, okay, I kind of feel like me again. When I was in the thick of this, my skin was the first thought I had every single morning. And it was the last thought I had before I went to bed. Like it was fully all consuming. I thought about it in terms of everything that I ate, everything that I drank, and everything that I did, right? Like I was constantly paying attention to how is this going to affect my skin. Of all the things that I did, I think the vegan diet may have contributed the least. And I say this just because of my experience after this, that you know, maybe a little bit of dairy reduction, so sort of just less just glasses of milk and cottage cheese and whatever I was consuming before then was probably a good thing. But looking at it now, I'm not sure how much the vegan actually helped. I think eliminating sugar and eliminating processed foods was one of the big movers. I mean, at least for me, one of the things that I've found, and I wanna make more videos about this, is that I find that I have a really high sensitivity to sugar. That if I have sugar in my system, I can feel the inflammation, my skin gets worse, my body gets worse, I feel more sluggish. So I think I just have a high sensitivity to sugar. So I think eliminating that from my diet really helped to reduce some of that acne, especially when it was at its worst. And then the exercise as well, right? Vigorous exercise, I think helped to speed the process along as well. At a minimum, it gave me some level of positive emotion in the day, right? When I was in the gym, when I was absolutely sweating out everything in my body, I felt good, right? Like after a vigorous workout, I felt good. And most of the time throughout the day, I didn't feel good. And so it at least gave me a little bit of burst of positive emotion, probably made me sleep a little bit better too. But I think genuinely that exercise, it felt like I was almost like pushing the acne out of my skin when I'm like sweating and working out really hard. That's probably not actually what's happening, but that's what it felt like, right? So I think it was overall definitely a net positive. If you're out there, if you're watching this video because you're in the trenches, because you're dealing with this right now, I want to give you a word of positive encouragement that you're going to get through this, that there are things you can do, that you don't have to turn to Accutane, that there are other solutions, and that it's going to take hard work, and that it's going to take discipline, and that it's going to take you pushing yourself to get there, but that I am very confident that you can. So I hope this video was helpful, encouraging, maybe informative to some of you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time.